welcome to the Women's Rugby Pod, episode 99, special episode for you next week coming up. Just me, Johnny Hammond, by myself this week. Berth has had a bit of emergency at home. One of her doggies has had to be whizzed off to the vet, so obviously wishing little Mocha a speedy recovery and I hope all is well at Berth Towers. Got plenty of news to bring you up to date with. Got Nandi all the way from South Africa to bring you up to date with all the news from the last 10 days or so. We've also got Philippa Tutchett, the Wales Sevens player, to let you know what's going on here in Sevilla, which is where I am at the moment, commentating on the Sevens. And also a bit of Premiership 15s to catch up on as well. Yeah, well, let's start there. Of course, a huge announcement this week with TikTok becoming a title partner of the Women's Six Nations, the Men's Six Nations autumn campaigns as well. And I think it's an important distinction. It's a partner, not a sponsor. Plenty of people getting that wrong on social media and what have you. Don't know the exact numbers. What's going to be ring fenced for the women, the amount of money, that kind of stuff. But I think the positive thing here is that it's a partnership of a company that's huge, and it's different, and it's fresh, and it's trying to attract a new audience, and it makes people sit up and think and take note. And from where we were a year ago, the last few years, no title partner or sponsor at all, it's a massive, massive positive thing. And already people are getting involved in TikTok and aimed at those youngsters. All those young girls who are flooding into the fastest growing team sport in the world. It can only be a positive thing. More news on TikTok and the Six Nations coming up in the coming weeks. But yeah, it really is a really positive thing. And perhaps we'll get Berth's opinion on it next week as well. But as we say, all the news from around the world. Let's get straight to Nandi then. Here's Nandi's news.
Thank you so much, Johnny. It's great to be back. And we do start off in Hong Kong and Samoa, who pull out of Rugby World Cup. World Rugby released a statement detailing that due to insurmountable logistical challenges, Hong Kong and Samoa's rugby unions have withdrawn their women's 15s teams from 2 upcoming tournaments in Dubai. Hong Kong has withdrawn from the Asia Championship tournament, which is a feeder for the final qualification tournament, whilst Samoa has withdrawn from the final qualification tournament. This therefore has changed the qualification process for the last spot at the World Cup, and now the Asia Rugby Women's Championship will no longer take place, and Kazakhstan will automatically qualify for the final qualification tournament. The bottom 2 ranked teams, Kazakhstan and Colombia, will now play in a semi-final on the 19th of February 2022. The winner of the Kazakhstan versus Colombia game will play in Scotland in the final on the 25th of February. The winner of the final will secure the last remaining spot for Rugby World Cup 2021. Details of the New Zealand Super Rugby or PK series have been confirmed, and 4 teams featuring the Blues, Chiefs Manawa, Hurricanes, Maichua will compete in a round robin, 1 home, 1 away and 1 super round across 3 weekends in March, beginning on the weekend of the 5th of March 2022. The Waitomo Chiefs Manawa team have confirmed an experienced coaching group for the inaugural Super Rugby or PK women's competition this year. High caliber coaches featuring Crystal Kua, Rodney Gibbs will join Waitomo Chiefs Manawa head coach Alan Bunting as his assistant coaches. Buildcorp has been awarded the tender to build the $30 million National Rugby Training Centre and new 3,010-seat McLean stand at Bellamore. The new stand will retain the McLean stand name, honouring the contribution to Queensland rugby of the McLean family. The Centre of Excellence will be the new headquarters of the National Wallaroos team, as well as a new training base for the Queensland Reds men's and women's teams and Reds Academy squad. Construction of the NRTC is due to start in February 2022 and be completed by early 2023. Moving across to your news, 2 USA internationals, Blow Maitotoga and Hali Tofu, have signed with Loughborough Lightning for the remainder of the season. Wasps have also announced that Karis Williams has decided to leave the club and she's now transferred to Ladbro Lightning for the remainder of the season. Moving over to Malacca Sevens, USA have claimed gold in Malacca this weekend with an emphatic win over Russia, winning 35-10, while Australia claimed bronze, beating France 33-7 in the third place playoff. Lindsay Peet has officially announced her retirement from international rugby. Aged 41, she won 38 caps for Ireland, having debuted in 2015, and will continue to play for her club, Railway Union, in the All-Ireland League. Breitling will be the official timing partner of Six Nations Rugby, including the Women's Six Nations. Breitling's inclusion of Women's Six Nations in its partnership is a significant step forward for sponsorship and development of the women's game. Lots of results to get through this week and recapping on 2 weeks worth of results. And we begin with round 11 of the Premier 15s, and the DMP Sharks lost at home against Bristol Bears, losing that clash 41-7, while Gloucester Harpy bag a win against Sale Sharks, winning that game 17-3. Ladbro Lightning lose at home against Saracens, losing that game 27-12, while Exeter Chiefs bag a narrow win against Harlequins, winning that game 18-17. The Worcester Warriors versus Wasps game was postponed due to the absence or non-arrival of a pitch-side ambulance. And when we look last weekend, several rescheduled fixtures took place. Wasps lost at home against Ladbro Lightning, losing that clash 41-22, while DMP Sharks also lose at home against Worcester, losing that game 74-7. And the Sale versus Saracens game, Saracens were the ones that walked away with the victory, winning that game 41-26. And this means that Saracens extend their lead at the top of the table by 7 points. And in this weekend, round 12 resumes with Harlequins taking on Gloucester Harpy, Loughborough Lightning taking on DMP Sharks, and Saracens will host Worcester Warriors, while Wasps will host Exeter Chiefs, and Sale Sharks will take on Bristol Bears. Moving over to Ireland in round 10 of the Energia or Ireland League, and Blackrock College managed to get points on the scoreboard against Old Belvedere, winning that clash 16-0, while Cook lost at home against Teutonians, losing that clash 37-13. Malone also lose at home against Ballincollig, losing that clash 17-15, while Railway Union bag a home victory against UI Bohemian, winning that clash 14-10. Wilclow lost against Galwegians, losing that clash 36-3. First 4 places on the table remain unchanged from last week, with Railway Union at the top. And in round 11, the results were UI Bohemian getting a home victory against Old Belvedere, winning that game 41-7, while Blackrock College also get a win against Railway Union, winning that game 16-13. Galwegians bag a 27-7 win against Cook, and Steutonians bag a 46-5 win against Malone, while Ballincollig also bag a home win against Wilclow, winning that game 17-14. This weekend in round 12, Ballincollig will take on Cook, Malone will take on Wilclow, Railway Union will host Old Belvedere, while Steutonians will host Galwegians, and UI Bohemian will take on Blackrock College. Moving over to Scotland in the playoffs of the Tennent's Premiership, Watsonians won against Stirling County, winning 39-0, while Hillhead Jordan Hill also bag a win at home against Corstorphine, winning that game 25-17. But the Harriers Blues versus Cartha Queen's Park was postponed due to a positive case and will be rescheduled. Looking southward to France in round 8 of the Elite 1, results from Pool 1, and it was ASM Rukbana that would walk away with a home victory against AC Pobogny, winning that game 27-10, while Grenoble also get a win against Stade Francais, winning 24-8. Stade Rennais versus Stade Toulouse was postponed due to COVID, but will be rescheduled for the 13th of March, and Lens will be on a bye this weekend. And over in Pool 2, Blackneck Rugby managed to get a massive 41-0 victory against Chile Mazarin, with Lyon also getting a win against Lille, winning that game at 37, while AS Béarnais didn't manage to get any points on the scoreboard, losing 25-0 to Montpellier, and Stade Bordeaux on a bye. Last weekend, the results from round 9 were AC Pobogny winning 41-10 against Lens, while Stade Francais lost at home against ASM Rukbana, losing that clash 17-3, with Stade Toulouse getting a 41-12 victory against FC Grenoble, with Stade Rennais on a bye in Pool 1. Whilst in Pool 2, Chile Mazarin lost at home against Stade Bordeaux, losing that clash 43-8, with Montpellier getting a 46-3 win against Lyon, with AC Béarnais on a bye. Lille versus Blackneck was postponed and was rearranged for the 12th of March 2022. This weekend in round 10, we can look forward to fixtures with Lens taking on Stade Francais, ASM Roukbana taking on Stade Toulousier, FC Grenoble taking on Stade Rennais, AC Bobogny on Ibai, and over in Pool 2, Stade Bordeaux will host Lille, and Black Neck will go head-to-head against Montpellier, with Lyon taking on AS Bearnais, and Chile Mazarin on Ibai. The Liga Ipedora returns this weekend in round 11. Complutense Cisneros will take on Sant Cuga, with Grat Residentia taking on San Seis Olympico de Pozzelo will take on Majadonda, and Eibar will take on Cotiva Cocos. Lastly, in the English Championship, the results from round 12, and in the North, Lichfield bagged a victory against Novocastrians, winning that game 34-5, while West Park Leeds give Kenilworth a massive hiding, winning that game 74-0. Furwood Waterloo won at home against Sefton, winning 46-7, while Harrogate also bagged a win against Barnsley, winning that game 31-11. Loughborough Town not managing to get any points on the scoreboard, and it was Cheltenham Tigers that would walk away with a 31-0 win. Cheltenham maintained their lead at the top of the table with 47 points. And in the south, Bath also getting a victory at home against Old Albanians, winning that game 22-17. Blackheath lost at home against Reading Abbey, losing that game 27-12. Hove get a massive 57 against Henley, while Thurrock also get a win against Richmond FC, winning that game 29-7. Supermarine lost at home against Buckingham Swans, losing that game 31-22. Bath moved to second place, with Thurrock still undefeated in first on 49 points. And a big shout out to the 579,089 people that have tuned in to watch Premier 15s across their live streams and BBC Sport so far this season. This is great work, so let's keep it up, and I'll see you next week.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Peace and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod. Enjoy!
Thank you very much indeed, Nandi, for all those results from around the world. But yeah, there's plenty going on as ever at the moment, isn't there? We will, as ever, keep you up to date, not quarterly, but every single week, barring technical difficulties and emergencies of the vets and what have you. We'll keep coming at you all the way through the season. But as I say, I'm out in Sevilla doing the sevens. I thought what a great opportunity to catch up with Philippa Tuttiet, who now does a huge amount of broadcasting, not only in the women's game, but the men's as well. And just have a chat with her about the last couple of weekends and the world of sevens. Here's Philippa Tuttiet.
So not before time, welcome Philippa Tuttiet onto the Women's Rugby Pod. A former sevens captain, of course, and now bit of a legend in the commentary box as well. Done a few games with you, but you're solidly on this sevens circuit. We're out here in Sevilla, in the sunshine. Beautiful city, Sevilla, isn't it?
It is absolutely stunning, and thank you very much for your lovely introduction. Been loving it here with the sevens, and me and you having a little explore yesterday on the scoots. Loving that. Didn't know you had it in you, but no, it was really good fun. It's beautiful, beautiful city, massive, and would love to come back again. And I think they're doing a really good job at hosting the sevens so far as well. Yeah,
they are. No, we're just going to touch on last week as well, but considering all the bits and pieces, and no doubt looking on the television, not a huge amount of people here in a big stadium rattling around and what have you, but actually even just to get it together in the world that we're living in at the moment. I mean, the logistical nightmare, just for yourself, you're just getting in and out and all the rest of it, let alone all the teams and what have you. It's been pretty impressive from World Rugby and from the people in Spain putting this together.
Oh, incredibly so. And as we know, they're having their COVID tests every day, and unfortunately there are some players that are missing each week, but every team is rallying around. I mean, last week in Malaga, you got the Russian team only had 9 players because they had so many missing due to COVID, and they got into the final. So, I mean, literally from players to management to organisation, obviously World Rugby, I think it's incredible. Nations from all over around the world getting together and still being able to compete safely. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Berth and I were there at the final last week. We were a little bit giddy. I think Berth had a couple of sneaky sangrias. So it wasn't a particularly analytical look at last week. But obviously USA won last week. How impressed were you with the tournament overall, but also in particular USA's performance?
Really impressed. More so because of the bounce back. They've got a new coach under Emily Bidewell, so it's the first time we saw them in Dubai playing under that new management. And, a bit of a change of guard as well. Some big names now not playing. Aleph Kelter gone to Saracens for rugby union. Abigastaitis no longer involved. And they were up and down, bit of a roller coaster of performances. I think they came 7th in the first round. Built on it, came 5th in the second round. But then to come back after Christmas with such a bang and no real change in personnel, same players there, and undefeated through to the final. Really impressed with how they turned it around.
And Russia got to that point. You mentioned that already with 9 players.
Yeah.
That's impressive for them. And
incredible.
They are the kind of team that you'd almost expect a Russian team to be. Very, very earnest, very, very strong, very, very physical.
Yeah, very physical. And the way that they play, it's all about ball retention, and they like to go edge to edge and use their runners out on that sort of outward arc. They're not a jinky, cut through the middle type of team, but the way they play requires real fitness because they play with so much width. They're a running team, and yet they're still so physical as well and aggressive at the breakdown. All of this is energy-sapping stuff. So to be able to do that continuously, and then in the semi-final against Australia, the in-form team turned them over. It was a high-scoring game as well. Australia scored 1, Russia scored 1, Australia. It was back and forth. And yet to come through that with a win was really incredible.
Sounds like your analysis of you on a scooter. Some very nice moves through the beautiful gardens. Let's look at Sevilla now. I mean, As I say, the sun is shining. It's a dance-like warmer. Hell of a stadium here. Immaculate pitch. All the rest of it. We only had a handful of games that we're recording Friday afternoon local time. First day of 3. Who's caught your eye so far in terms of the team performances here in Sevilla?
Well, it was the first time that we see Portugal. They are an invitational team to this tournament, and they have not only made they've made 2 steps up, because for the likes of Poland and Belgium, they play in the Rugby Europe Championship.
Yep.
So that's 1 step up basically to the World Series, whereas actually Portugal play in the league below that. So they've jumped a league and now come up to this one. They played invitational last year in the Rugby Europe Championship. Stick with me, people, if you can. I need to draw a diagram for this. Basically, what I'm saying in an overly verbal way is they've made a massive step up, and consequently they had a bit of a baptism of fire against USA. It was 52-0. So I'm looking to see a little bit more from them. I think they certainly found their feet towards the end of the game. I think it was just way too much for them. But equally, USA were clinical. We talk about it so much in the 15s game when you're playing against a weaker team and the standards can almost drop a little bit. But I was actually really impressed to see how clinical USA were. They didn't become individual, even though maybe half gaps were appearing. They were still going through their kind of phase play. You could tell what they're looking forward to the bigger picture, and certainly not just being individuals just do a step and go. They were trying to still use their hands, still use their phase play. So I thought that was really good. I have a really soft spot for Ireland. I think they've been doing brilliantly.
You Celts.
I know. I do. I really do. And I'm loving again that they've really built through. They've got better and better each round. One of their best rounds last week in Malaga, scored the most amount of tries in a single event than they ever have before. So they started off well, but they were against Poland, who have really, I've been really impressed with them. Yeah. It was actually a close game. It was 14-10, and Ireland have been playing well. So for Poland to hold them to that, I thought that was really good. They've made a brilliant step up, dealing with the fitness and the physicality of the World Series. Because again, sorry, I've jumped over Poland, are invitational for these 2 legs. So I thought they've done really well. Everything else, to be honest with you, is pretty much what you would expect. Yeah. Russia played Brazil, won pretty comfortably. Canada, England, maybe there's a talking point there actually. The score, if you were to say to someone who maybe is thinking of Canada of old, it was 33-12 to England, you'd be like, wow, that's huge. But obviously me and you unfortunately know that Canada are going through a bit of a transitional period at the moment and maybe aren't as strong as you would expect. But still, I think that was good composure for England, because you can tell they've had their frustrations from last round. They're certainly out to build and get their performances back to where they used to be.
Yeah, well, I just kind of said that point when we were in the hotel with all the teams last week and in and around the stadium. It's that vibe, as you well know, with Sevens. And I caught James Rodwell for a quick chat, Big Red. And he said, the girls who've never even played Sevens ever before last week, and they had sort of literally a handful of days together. The step up today, I thought actually was quite impressive. You could see the advancement of a week, and then if we're looking ahead to the next events and what have you, Langford, the improvement they can make, it could be quite significant.
Oh, definitely, because you know the individuals they've got on that team are absolute class, and what I'm loving is there's loads of pace as well in that team, which I think suits the style that England want to play. And actually, James Rodwell said a really good point last week in Malaga. He was like, we're actually on day 20 of our training program as England, because obviously in Dubai 1 and Dubai 2 they were still GB. Now, yes, there's about 9 girls from that GB squad who are now with England, so they've got that element of consistency, but James Rodwell's going to come in and put a whole new stamp on things, and rightfully so. So they're actually only day 20 last week, so plus 7, Phil, 27. So day 27 of their training. So, they really are, this really is the very, very beginning of their season. But like you say, there's definitely massive room for growth there.
And there's no Jazz Joyce.
I know.
No Jazz Joyce,
and the
of
world
course.
is not a better place for it. I'm gutted, but hey, it is what it is. And at least she is now a full-time professional within the Welsh Rugby Union. She was one of the 12 ladies that got contracts. So, she's still being supported. But yeah, it breaks my heart. It's a shame she's not here, but I look forward to seeing her in the Six Nations.
Speaking of individuals, who's caught your eye? Not only today, but in Malaga. Just a couple of star names that people at home, around the world can go, oh, okay, I'll look out for that player. So I put you on the spot.
Okay, no. For Poland, Kolde. Kolde is their winger, and she chased down Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe this morning, actually. In their I know, exactly.
In the 22, wasn't it?
It was incredible. So, I don't think we really got to see her true pace last week because they weren't able to put her in too much space, but wow, she is a really lethal weapon for him. So, yeah, look out for her. I mean, obviously, you've got all your big names. Shani Williams, for Australia, becomes one of the most experienced, most amount of appearances.
Equal,
on the
isn't she?
series.
Yeah,
at 38, with Baizat Hamidova from Russia. So, look out for them because, with all due respect, at the age they are, and, they've put their body through the mill, but they are still absolutely killing it and still doing a brilliant job. Newbies-wise, who's really stood out for me, who quietly goes about her business for Ireland, because I have a soft spot for them.
You really do, don't you?
I just think I think a great bunch of girls, and I really like the style of rugby they're trying to play. But Eve Higgins, she does so much work for them. A lot of off-the-ball stuff, really carries hard, will always secure a ruck, but she's got deceivingly good pace down the wing as well. So, yeah, look out for her. I mean, hey, God, you could pick out so many people, couldn't you, from so many different teams. Just watch it all. And
I asked for you one or two, and you've
been
very precise there. No, absolutely. Which leads me to my last question, because you are literally about to go and commentate on what we call the super session, this sort of block of 2 hours that sort of is supposedly more sellable to the world of broadcasting. You enjoy your commentary?
Oh my day! I absolutely love it. Honestly, I love it. I love every moment of it. I love the variety of experiences from 15s to 7s, and it was always my dream as a player to try and get on the World Series, as every player. And as much as I was as fortunate with my 15s experiences, in my heart was always 7s. I don't know why. I just absolutely love the game. As Wales, we did get to the World Series qualifiers a few times, but unfortunately we're never able to qualify to make that jump up to the World Series, and that's always a little bit of I wish, and I don't have many of them because I don't believe in them, but there is one thing I wish I was able to have had the privilege of, would have been playing. But now to be in a position where I get to follow the girls from the second best position, which is up in the gods here, looking down on the game and analysing it with people who equally love the game, is incredible. So I really feel very, very privileged to be here. I don't have to tell you, it's really hard at times, but hey, that's what you want, and it's not worth doing unless it's hard, and you really have to earn it, and that's what makes it special. So.
And the difference from a commentary point of view between 15s and 7s, apart from a lot more players.
Yes, a lot more players, a lot more names. Analysis-wise, it's very quick in 7s, so you really have to be on it. The replays you're given often only a couple of seconds, so you have to be pinpoint as well where you feel that try was created from. 15s, you'll get a little bit more of a build-up. Maybe the pattern can be a little bit clearer. But I love the fact that in 7s, you are openly encouraged to have fun and to enjoy it. And if you think that was an absolute beaut of a try, you have full reign to express your emotion, and that's what I really love.
No, well, it's I know, having done a couple of your early games with you, your progression has been fantastic to see, and
thank you very much.
Well done, you, and thank you very, very much for joining us on the WRP. Whiz down from this microphone down to your lip mic. Thanks so much for joining us, Pip.
Thank you, honestly, really appreciate it.
I'm Rocky Clark, and you're listening to the Women's Rugby Pod.
Great to hear from Philippa. Really appreciate her time coming on the pod. Speaks really, really well, doesn't she, about the game of 7s. And yes, she really is a very good broadcaster. Moving into Premier 15s this weekend, my predictions. Was against Exeter. It's a live stream game on Saturday. Away win for me there. Exeter on a bit of a roll at the moment. Was struggling. A few players out here in Spain, etc., etc. Loughborough Lightning against DMP. Home win there for me. Loughborough Lightning. Saracens against Worcester. Same there. Home win. A couple of fresh signings. Boyd. That camp, no doubt. Harlequins against Gloucester. The other game on Saturday. Eesh. Tough one. I think it's going to be really, really tight. Home win. Just a home win on that one. Sunday, Sale against Bristol. Another stream game for you. I'm going home win. I think Sale might take that. Yeah. Yeah, those are my predictions. Exeter, Loughborough Lightning, Saracens, Quins, and Sale. That's it, short and sharp this week for the pod, leading into next week, well, 100th episode for you. Yeah, very, very exciting for us here at the WRP. Got a few exciting things planned for the episode. Just to say, thank you so much for listening to everybody. Really, really appreciate it. Get in touch. Let us know what's going on at your club. We will, as ever, try to share whatever we can and spread the love. Huge thank you to Nandi, of course, for the news, to Philippa Tutiet, to Sean, to Tom, to Bluebell, and to Berth and Little Mocha. Hope Little Mocha gets well very, very soon. And we will see you next week when we bring up the tongue. Until then, stay safe, take care.